Support for today's episode comes from Jenny Kane. Y'all, it is hot here in Houston, and we've got heat indexes now over 100 degrees. So when it comes to fashion and styling, for me, it's all about the easy breezy, flowy summer dress. Jenny Kane is the perfect designer for that effortless kind of California chic, beautiful boho look where it seems like you just effortlessly got dressed and you look perfect. That's what I love about it. It's just like a timeless classic. It's minimalistic, very refined, but oh so comfortable. And let me tell you, the quality is amazing. Cottons, linens, even in the wintertime, they've got their super luxe cashmere sweaters. I've got one of those in like a real pretty taupe color. But obviously right now we're not talking sweaters. We're talking dresses and we're talking breathability. So Jenny Kane for me is it. You can find your forever pieces at jennykane.com. Our listeners get 15% off your first order when you use code OVER50 at checkout. That's 15% off your first order at JENNIKAYNE.com, promo code OVER50. Let getting dressed be one less thing to worry about. Welcome to today's Over 50 and Flourishing. We are focusing on love today. My guest is Kailen Rosenberg. She is a celebrity love architect, elite matchmaker, relationship expert, author of Real Love Right Now, and Oprah's love ambassador on the award-winning series Lovetown USA. She's endorsed by the world's most respected experts in academia, psychology, faith, relationships, and dating. Kailen Rosenberg, so good to have you. How are you liking the Texas heat all the way from Minnesota?
I have to say it feels good.
Does it?
It's warm.
It is.
It's really warm.
Okay.
Yeah, but thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a joy to have you. Speaking of heat and passion and love, this is going to be such a wonderful discussion because I can't even begin to tell you how many women talk to me about love in midlife. And as you know, through my journey, my personal journey that I've shared, I'm now in the single space, as are a lot of women of this age and stage, and we're all trying to navigate it and figure it out. And I thought, who better to bring on than the love architect herself? Yeah. So, you have had extensive time in this field. You have been somebody who has worked with celebrities to just regular folk like you and me. And I really wanted to talk about just finding your person and how that works, because as you know, it's either through friends, connections, people we know, places we go, or of course the apps, right?
Yeah.
So walk me through, first of all, your concept and how you got into all of this.
Oh boy.
It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack.
That's a lot. So my concept and how I got into this, I am someone who has been passionate about love and people understanding love and having love my entire life. And even though my focus for almost 30 years has been working with individuals who are primarily single to help them find love in them, really actually, yes, with themselves, in themselves, while looking for that really amazing partner. The focus has also been working with individuals in their relationships and in their marriages. So love across the board, and then really love on a higher energetic level into society, into our world, and how we treat one another. And so my heart's passion, my soul's mission, my work as a professional, again, for almost 3 decades, and one that has... or I should say, I've been really fortunate to be in so many lives to bring love and healing and a higher sense of truth and awareness to people.
Yeah.
And so basically anything and everything that I do or that I touch, either energetically or through my work, is about bringing people to that higher place, because we are just all so in need. And so yes, passion and fiery and good and all of that, and love is that, and it can be that, and it should be that, but I think for far too many people it's the opposite, and something that's meant to be and designed to be so beautiful and peaceful and precious is actually connected to too many wounds and too much pain. And so we need to
Yes.
face all of that while keeping it fun and light. And it's an interesting balance.
Yeah, it's the one thing that I so admire and appreciate in your approach. As I was learning about you and studying your My Love Design concept, and I really want you to sort of walk us through the steps, because you and I are both very strong women of faith. Faith plays a big role in this for you.
Yeah.
We are very much into self-actualization and really doing the hard work and the deep work.
Yeah.
That's important to you. So what comes first, the chicken or the egg, at this point, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess it's boy, I was going to say it's the chicken, and then I go, well, wait a second, the chicken comes from the egg.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. The thing is that, yes, it is absolutely so incredibly crucial and important to know ourselves, to know who we are, to know, therefore, then what our value really, really is, where it comes from, and then what our values are, especially in connection to love in any relationship, especially a romantic relationship. But I have found over many, many years working with thousands of people all over the world, regardless their background, that most people will say, "Yeah, I know who I am. Yeah, I've been through a lot. I've done counseling or therapy or coaching, or I'm in prayer." And then it isn't until we really dive in that most have an aha moment. It's typically a teary-eyed filled moment, and they say, "Oh my gosh, Kailen, I thought I knew who I was. Right. I am now finding I had actually no idea, or the person that I believed that I was or that I am is someone that sort of has been created over time to feel safe, to feel comfortable, to navigate life." And these are with really powerful people that you see on television, or you hear about, or you read about, that look from the outside to have really lovely, amazing, huge lives and joy. But when they are alone behind the scenes in quiet, they really lost themselves and who they really were a long time ago. So the bottom line is that if you don't go to the actual person that God sent you here to be, who created you, you're never then actually living the life you were meant to live, which is why so many people hit something that feels like a midlife crisis at different times, or a relationship where they met, fell in love, and then all of a sudden in the midst of that, even though it's still going fine, they're like, wait a minute, who am I? Who is this person? I don't even know if I'm in love anymore. It's that their true self is trying to come out.
Yes.
So you have to get to that place before you can really, really, really not only love yourself first, for real, and what that means, but truly love someone else. And that's abandoned and ignored. And so the work that I do is about getting everyone there. And I know at a different time we're going to talk about my love design, but that's really what that's about.
Yeah. And it's
for all of us.
It's true. Everybody has wounds and traumas. Everybody, from past situations, from family members, from just experiences in general. And so, you mentioned to me that people go through therapy, or they go through, meditation or whatnot, and there's that aha moment. What does it take to reach that aha moment where you actually have clarity about who you are and also how you've been functioning in relationships? Right. Because it's not just what one person does to us, it's two people working together, and we all bring our own dysfunction. So how do we even get to that point of analyzing, first of all, who we are, how do we get to that epiphany, and then to realize what is the dysfunction that we've been bringing ourselves?
Well, again, the moment we are disconnected from our true, authentic self, which happens rather quickly for us in society, because of everything that our parents carried within themselves into their relationship, into their parenting, their lack of finding themselves and loving and knowing themselves, then we have carried that on. It's just I can't think of the word I want to use right now, but it's really kind of a thing that becomes a symbiotic thing that is. That's deterring the ability to experience everything on the highest level that is sitting and waiting for us energetically all the time. So, people that believe in or think about the law of attraction or energy, there's absolute truth to all of it.
Yes.
Depending on how you look at it spiritually or through religion or whatever you believe. There's a higher power energy level that is constantly listening to our energy, watching our energy, listening to our thoughts, our words, and even everything we write down. That's why, even people that really get into vision boards, and they'll say, oh my Lord, this is almost spooky. This thing I put this vision board together 2 years ago. I stuck it under my bed, and now I looked at it and this all happened. So everything is being paid attention to on a level that most of us aren't aware of. And so again, if we're not really at that space of knowing and finding ourselves, and I know we're going to say, well, what was it that, how did we get there?
Yes.
We're again hovering in this kind of numb space unknowingly. So what gets you there that we have so little of in this world that I'm trying to change are the deep triggers and emotions and that come from words from a powerful truth teller and speaker in your life. And we all have them. Usually they're the people we don't like so much.
Right.
They're usually that mirror that we're like, oh no, that's too uncomfortable. You go away. Right. It's more comfortable for me to be over here and to hear this about myself or to believe this about myself. But it's looking for and listening for and having the opportunity to have that teacher that tells you the thing that pings you here, that just doesn't sit right. It feels uncomfortable. It can trigger you. And so instead of reacting to it and saying, oh, that's wrong, oh, that's bad, and not that there aren't things that people can absolutely say that can be painful, wrong, untrue, and damaging.
Sure.
That sadly obviously happens too. But we know intuitively when we're really present with ourselves that people will say things to us that somewhere inside it's going, listen to that, or there's a teacher in that. And what is the teacher? It's being able to peel the layers back enough to get really raw with it. It often also times comes in what can be recognized as fears, phobias, areas of need to control, rather than looking at it strictly on the surface level of what we believe it's about, or even common therapy will teach us it's about. It's always 3 to 5 layers deeper than that. And so then it's having the ability to do that, to go that deep and to look at those layers without shame attached. And that's a whole other topic.
You bet.
Because we stay stuck because of shame.
Yeah, and live in the shadows from
regret. And exactly. So again, just gently peeling back the layers, removing the shame, really loving ourselves in concept even before we're there. It's this sort of, I don't want to say fake it until you make it, but sort of like I'm just going to love on me. Even if I don't know really how to do it, I'm just going to do. Now energetically,
you're putting out love.
There you go.
Because
and
you're
now
loving
it's coming
on you.
at you. And then all of a sudden you're starting to see things change in your life. You're seeing people shift around you and you're not understanding why. People are looking at you and they're saying, did you have something done? You know, or you must have had really great sleep lately, or were you on vacation? And all that it is that your energy is showing you more authentically as to who you really are.
Right. So don't you have to be a good listener to yourself? And like you said, maybe gurus in your life. And there are so many people who serve that role, whether it's, a spouse or a close friend or a therapist, and getting that feedback. It may not often or always be true, but maybe it is, like you said, and it does sort of speak to that little child inside to be a lesson teacher.
Always. Always, always, always.
Okay.
And in the end, there's nothing to be afraid of it. It's actually so beautiful and relieving, and it's then that we get to truly have our life and live it authentically. And then love is just so amazing. And the whole experience of partnership is so amazing. I really love is going to be said over and over in this podcast, but I just love how you talk about loving yourself first and getting to that place and point before you can even open yourself up and be receptive to loving somebody else and being loved by somebody else. And we're going to talk about that process because you've got a multi-pronged process to making that happen. On the backside of this break, you're watching Over 50 and Flourishing with Dominique Sachse. Support for today's episode comes from Jenny Kane. Y'all, it is hot here in Houston, and we've got heat indexes now over 100 degrees. So when it comes to fashion and styling, for me, it's all about the easy breezy, flowy summer dress. Jenny Kane is the perfect designer for that effortless kind of California chic, beautiful boho look where it seems like you just effortlessly got dressed and you look perfect. That's what I love about it. It's just like a timeless classic. It's minimalistic, very refined, but oh so comfortable. And let me tell you, the quality is amazing. Cottons, linens, even in the wintertime, they've got their super luxe cashmere sweaters. I've got one of those in like a real pretty taupe color. But obviously right now we're not talking sweaters. We're talking dresses and we're talking breathability. So Jenny Kane for me is
it. You can find your forever pieces at jennykane.com. Our listeners get 15% off your first order when you use code OVER50 at checkout. That's 15% off your first order at JENNIKAYNE.com, promo code OVER50. Let getting dressed be one less thing to worry about. Welcome back to Over 50 and Flourishing. My guest today is Kailen Rosenberg. She is a love architect with My Love Design. We are talking about designing love in the highest form. She has been working for over 30 years in the business of love. But yes, I mean, it is in fact a business when you think about all the different ways to find love through matchmaking, through dating apps. You know, it's the one thing that we covet the most is finding true love and what that looks like. I mean, you and I would both say pure, true love is love that you have with your higher power, which is your fuel and your source. Yeah. Before the break, we were talking about learning to love ourselves and what that takes. And obviously, it's a lot of soul searching and deep work. You know, for some more than others, but critical to be able to get there in order to really be open, ready, and receptive to getting somebody in your life and putting out that loving energy that you were talking about. So let's now move on to that second step, right? How does that work?
So when you say the second step of how do we
move forward? I mean, so now we're in the right place, right? We've taken
with ourselves.
With ourselves.
Okay.
So we've taken care of ourselves and we can actually feel and express and experience self-love. So now we're ready to have a partner in our lives. How do we go about that?
What's so interesting is that, and it's funny because over the years I had so many different clients who were single coming to me saying, "Hey, Kailen, I just want you to help me find my guy or my gal," and I would say, "Well, let's start with you. Let's find you. Let's introduce you to you.
Yeah.
Let's get you to really love you, and then we can go there." And oftentimes that would be met with frustration, like, "No, I'm good. I know myself. I've got myself. I've got it down. I love myself." And then we would find soon in that wasn't really the case, or at least to the level that they wanted and deserved, but they just never knew that they were missing or capable of experiencing. But what happens is that oftentimes, before I even have a chance to kind of work my magic and find that person, they've already attracted them organically, authentically on their own. And
Interesting.
I don't even have to show up. I mean, kind of in a sense, matchmakers should become obsolete. I mean, you know, it's a cute and romantic career to have for some, but you get the energy of Cupid going on up there, right? So when you are loving yourself, you are so beautiful, you are so vibrant and sexy and attractive, and everyone's noticing your energy from, you know, honestly, birds to strangers, to children, to dogs. I mean, but especially your person notices you. Their soul notices you and notices your soul. And so now we have that really unique attraction that happens that is past the ego chemistry state. And you are connecting on a level that you've never really connected with anyone before. And it's not just a hot, passionate, romantic. It's a deep space with this beautiful comfortability where you really don't have to try at all or try too hard. And most people never know what that feels like. They never get there because they can't get past the ego state. So again, when you are in that space of authentically loving yourself, knowing yourself, putting your energy and your attitude and your values out there, you bring that in. If I'm looking on your behalf or someone's looking on your behalf, a friend, a family member, whomever, or you're online, and you have that person in front of you, now you immediately go to a space of self-love, self-awareness, where you, in a second or a nanosecond, pick up on what would have been red flags that in the past you would just poo-poo, brush under the rug, allow yourself to go energetically into a relationship because there's no room for that anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not coming from an egocentric space or a judgmental space. It's just that does
a
not
boundary
fit.
space.
It is. It's a beautiful, higher level, loving, healthy boundary space. So now you're not even getting into these relationships of toxicity anymore, or of old patterns anymore. You see it immediately. You call it out immediately internally on an energetic level. You thank that voice for being honest with you, loving you, and protecting you, and you lovingly just let that person go. You don't judge them. You don't call them out on their stuff and say, you know what, you do this, it doesn't work for me. So you're just like, it was just so absolutely lovely meeting you. Because another soul, right? Absolutely. And you're being loved.
Yeah.
Now you're at a higher place. Absolutely lovely meeting you. And they could have had the ugliest exchange. And I just send you and wish you so much love and wellness. And thank you so much. And goodbye. Right?
That's powerful.
Yeah. That's what you become, your best loving bodyguard. And so now any of the relationships that you get into, when you are finally in relationship with your person, and most often too, I'll have clients say, how I ended up with this person, I have no idea. Either they never believed enough in themselves to attract something that they really wanted on a higher level, or this was never my type. Kailen, what happened? What did you do to me? You know, I would never have been physically attracted to this. That was never my type. That used to be my turnoff and the thing I stayed the furthest away from. Or, you know, it could be so many different things, and yet it is actually their person, and now it's precious and it's amazing and it's perfect.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so let's hash out some red flags
Yes.
because there are plenty.
Oh, goodness
and
sakes.
boy, you can't scroll past a TikTok or an Instagram feed without narcissism popping up. That is like the buzzword right now.
I know it is.
So, okay, so why did narcissism become such a thing? What is it? And you and I were having a lovely discussion last night over dinner, and we were talking about that. And I want to elaborate on it. So what are red flags? What is a narcissist and what isn't?
Oh, goodness sakes.
I know, right? We could have a whole podcast on that.
Yes, truly. Well, I think that in many ways it was good to get that buzzword out there to, you know, because there's the narcissism that most of us have been kind of familiar with, where we think of it as the egocentric person that's just really into themselves and full of themselves and just, you know, really high up on themselves. And you know, just that really, again, loves their own reflection. But that's not really what a narcissist is. I mean, narcissism is actually, true narcissism it's a true clinical diagnosis. It's a very painful, lost, sad diagnosis. And so while it's good that it has been brought to the forefront, you're right, it's all over everywhere. Everyone's a narcissist. They're a narcissistic abuser. They're this, they're that.
It gets tossed around like candy.
So I liked it in the beginning. I think it's getting a little overplayed out now, because now I think that that's starting to keep people stuck, because now the minute anyone is unkind to you, they're not listening to you, they're gaslighting you, which it's a name it's been given. It's keeping you now stuck in your ego of judgment, instead of being able to pass through and cross through to leave space for energetic love and healing that has a healthy separation, that isn't connected to judgment, that keeps things stuck and dense energetically. And so now you're still tied into that person that you're saying is harming you, but now you are actually becoming the one that is harming yourself indirectly through that person that is truly either a narcissist clinically or not. So, but again, so the thing that's been good about it is that it's brought society's level of awareness of this really painful, bad, negative, repetitive behavior to a space of, I identify that, I think, I certainly don't like it, and I certainly don't deserve it, and I certainly don't want it in my life. Well, amen, hallelujah. But then what?
Yeah.
Rather than staying stuck in, I was with a narcissist, I'm with a narcissist, I'm a narcissist, but you know. So that's where I like to move back to love and the energy and the power of love, because it absolutely does heal everything.
Can a narcissist heal?
You know,
based on what you've seen?
That's a broad question, you know, because there are different levels of wound. Narcissism comes from deep embedded wounds, deep embedded trauma, where they were taught at one point in their life that there was nothing about love or people that is truly safe to connect with on a vulnerable level. And so that's how they treat people. And then again, based on the personality type and traits and characteristics and genetics of what they come from. So it's a big honking mess.
Big myth, yes.
And I would, so it's the level of narcissism. Do I think that some narcissists can change a little bit, can heal a little bit? Can they actually have a decent relationship and or marriage? Yep. I've actually put two narcissists together, learned a lot from that.
It was a big narcissist bomb.
It was a big narcissist bomb, and they have what would be seen on the in society as an incredible family. And a very highly functioning family, and a lot of success, and a lot of beauty, a lot of pretty stuff. They're probably one of the best on Facebook. And it's all real. I mean, It is all real, but it's also a play.
Interesting.
But it's an honest play, because for them, it's honest.
Right, because they're aware of what each is bringing.
Yes, and they're doing the best they can in the name of love, as safe and as close as they can get to it, while still staying safe themselves.
Fascinating.
So it is fascinating.
Yeah.
So
I just wanted to talk about that and really address it, because I just think it's often misunderstood, and it's been so broadly painted with this wide paintbrush, where I think people who are being put in that category probably aren't, and it's worth addressing, and worth addressing. Can somebody who has it actually enter into a relationship and have one successfully? And also, how to recognize if you are entering into a relationship with somebody who is that way, and to know those flags, and to realize for the most part, they're not going to change.
Yeah. Well, again, it is being in a relationship with a narcissist is more about you than the narcissist. Because what inside you or yourself at any split second said that any of that behavior was okay.
Right.
That is what you pinpoint. That is what you focus on. Not the narcissist and their bad behavior. No. That's who they are. That's okay. Now we know.
Right.
Now let's lovingly release them so they can go hopefully find peace and heal, or not. But it's not good for us or healthy or loving for us on any level to accept that at all in our lives.
Yeah. And it's generally codependency that brings you,
it
you
absolutely
to that.
is. Yeah. So again, a question you had asked a while back, how do we know how do we get really real? How do we find out who we really, really are? Well, it's paying attention to those split seconds in those moments, and that voice that says, this doesn't feel good, this isn't good. And instead of ignoring it and pushing it away, saying, okay, well, what is it about me? What is it, again, without shame, what is it about me, or what's inside of me, or where is this coming from, or what am I attracted to or attached to, that I'm feeling almost like I'm getting a hit from this, right? Almost like an addict.
Total.
So what am I, and where is this? And you say, and it's okay. It's okay. I'm doing this actually as an attempt to love myself, as an attempt to feel good, as an attempt to feel safe. But really, you're doing the opposite in time. And in time, you are the one abusing yourself, and you are the one wounding yourself, not that narcissist or not that abuser anymore.
Yeah.
No, because you kept him there. So it's teaching people to, again, going back to loving yourself, because there's no reason to stay in something that isn't good for us and doesn't feel healthy or loving. Shoot, you asked a question too that I want to answer, but I guess what I'll say is there's a test called the Real Reveal that I designed and created with Dr. Harville Hendricks and his wife, Helen LaKelly Hunt. Really amazing experience. And we were able to break, in response to the test, in response to the test and the way that you answer the questions, over 30-some years on my side, and oh my gosh, I don't know how many on their side, of working with and interviewing people on the deepest of levels in every almost element and area of one's life and intimacy, we were able to dissect and sort of place people in the categories of life mate, soulmate in transit 1, soulmate in transit 2, or an ego mate. And this is a test that later on we'll talk about that's part of my onboarding process for my love design. It's something, though, I think all humans should take. It shouldn't just be about whether or not you're single and looking for someone. You should just want to know where you're at and what's happening in your life as it is, or who you're around. But we found that the narcissist was, of course, in the ego mate stage. Mm-hmm. But even when you talk about can a narcissist heal, the soulmate in transit 2 are the narcissists that had enough of something, enough of an experience that tapped or triggered something within them that hit an emotion that they hadn't experienced before. And through that, they felt enough to be able to connect to that and to want more and to pull themselves out of that narcissistic stage into that soulmate in transit 2 stage of, I'm now on the path for growth and healing. And this is an interesting space for men go through this as well, but I found primarily women, where women will say, I was with this man and everything about him was so precious, truly amazing, truly exceptional and extraordinary. And yet he had just these little pieces, and I knew he was hurt and wounded, and his mom and his dad did a doozy on him here and there. And I've just felt like if I just could have loved him enough, if I just I could have healed him.
I could fix him. I could be the fixer.
And what we have to be careful, because we've heard this so often, is that we are told we can't fix them, we can't heal them. And so women that are in this really beautiful, and they're usually highly, highly functioning, intelligent women that will go through these patterns with men. And they're oftentimes either shamed for doing that, or they shame themselves. And I talked to you about this a little bit last night, that what I have found is that is actually a sign of a beautiful space of love and healing and strength within the woman that she's identified in her own walk up through pain, that she now identifies with in such a high loving way in this other person. But it's a volatile dance.
It's a double-edged sword.
It's a double-edged sword because there's truth to, could love heal this amazing being that just comes with his wounds or her wounds? Yes.
Possible, but no guarantee.
But yes, again, so knowing yourself, loving yourself, knowing your values, holding strong to them, then you don't have to worry.
Right.
You just don't have to worry.
I mean, I think a lot of women, we hear that message all the time. We can't fix a man. He is what he is. And I know personally, I have gone into so many situations seeing such great potential, right? I'm going to help him self-actualize. I'm going to help him see,
That's different. But go ahead.
No, but it is. And I'm not the only one. And I speak it because I'm not the only one. We seem to think that we have this special sauce, this enabling whatever, to be able to help a man truly become all that we think he is capable of being. But we fall short because he falls short.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yes.
And it's not really work that we should be doing.
No, we can't do it.
Yes.
We can inspire it. We can encourage it.
Right.
We can be their greatest cheerleader.
Right.
But really, not only are they the only one that can actually do the work, but they would want to do the work, and they deserve to do the work. And if they don't do the work isn't real. It doesn't last.
No.
But where we have to be careful there as women or as partners or spouses or whatever it is that we aren't seeing the potential of whatever it is in them for ourselves, for our glory, for what we want and desire them to be or to behave like, right? So again, then that's about real love. Are we needing and wanting our partner to change and to be all of these things they're not for us, to like them even more, to feel a little more attracted to them, to feel safer with them? Or are we doing it because we are so good and so awesome and so comfortable and peaceful and feeling love over here that we just want them to feel that too? And we know that could be, that if they really loved themselves, believe in themselves, and knew who they were, they could be this amazing, wonderful, magical person.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
There's such a vast difference.
There is. Or are we deriving value in ourselves by helping them become all that, God created them to be?
Yes.
And that's another thing too. We should value ourselves for who we are. We should feel that we are deserving of love for who we are, that we don't have to earn it or work for it, right? It should just be because.
Yes.
So this is such a beautiful conversation. So much more to come. There are many next beautiful kind of unravelings of how all of this takes place to find I don't know if you would even say the right person, or if there's a perfect person, or if there's one soulmate or many. Ooh, there's so many things to talk about. But my guest today is Kailen Rosenberg, and she is a love architect. She's been in the area of love for 30 years and is offering us such wisdom today on how we seek it, but first how we seek it in ourselves. And we'll be back right after this. Over 50 and Flourishing with Dominique Sachse is sponsored by BetterHelp. Times can be a little uncertain. We oftentimes can be hit with roadblocks, whether it's in relationships or careers or, anywhere we just don't feel like we're moving forward in life. We feel a little stuck. And it's great to be able to press into relationships, friendships, and all of that to be able to talk things through. But sometimes that's not enough, or those people don't necessarily have the insight that you need. And that's where therapy can be incredibly helpful. So you can navigate life basically and have somebody hear you, a third party voice hear you and help you move forward with confidence and excitement in the decisions that you're going to make. And I can't honestly say enough about BetterHelp. It's so simple. If you're thinking about therapy, it's entirely online. It's convenient. It's flexible for your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire and you'll easily get matched with a licensed therapist, and then you can change therapists at any time for no additional charge if you feel you don't have the right match. But the key is to get help when you need it. So let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/over50 today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/over50. Welcome back. My guest today is Kailen Rosenberg with My Love Design. She has a website to help us all find love. For those of you who don't want to swipe right, for those of you who are not into the whole dating app scene, as you can tell, her approach to finding love is very evergreen and multi-pronged. Starts with self-love, which we've been talking about. We were talking about red flags, things to look out for in ourselves and in a potential partner. Kailen, I just wanted to share with you, I did a little research online. As you and I are the same age. We're both 56, right? Yeah. And a lot of women are in this space and they are wanting love in their lives, but they, don't know how to go about it. And there's a lot of fear associated with it. So I just want to share this with you.
Okay.
Women over 50 worry about finding somebody who shares their interests and their values. They are worried about ageism and discrimination in the dating world. Their physical appearance, concerns about looking attractive and youthful, health issues, worry about health conditions and how limitations may affect their dating life, emotional baggage, past relationships, trust issues, financial compatibility, family dynamics. I mean, I can speak to that as having been a stepmother, and blending families and all of that. Fear of rejection, online dating safety, limited dating pool. Paulina Poroskova kind of compared it to the dating puddle.
It's actually
not
pretty
much
honest.
out there, which is pretty funny.
Wow.
And dating goals, concerns about finding somebody with similar life goals, on and on and on. So, this is where women in our space are. And it's sad because there's so much fear associated with this. And I think you and I would be the first to agree that you have got to abandon fear from anything that you pursue in life, because you won't be successful if you're coming from a place of fear. So how do we get rid of that and set us up for success?
Oh boy. Okay. You're good. So first of all, when you were sharing those questions and what you had found, those statistics, I found myself almost literally, my eyes were tearing up. I wanted to cry, because there's so much truth to all of it, and yet it is absolutely. Even to say it's so unfair just sadly does nothing. But
I feel you.
It's so absolutely unfair. And I think that the reason it is so unfair, has become so unfair, is that people aren't talking enough about a larger reality, a bigger truth that's going on a higher level that is actually quite beautiful and quite the opposite of everything that I just heard. And which keeps me also joyful in my work rather than just packing up. And shutting the door. So about fear. We'll start there.
Yeah.
Fear actually is a beautiful way of saying we love ourselves, and it's attached to, as you know, it is attached to survival.
Of course.
Right? And so if we want to live, if we want to be happy, if we want to feel safe, then we're going to be paying attention, especially women, and women who have been through some life. And most of us have been through some life by the time we hit 40, 50 and on. And so it's allowing the fear, again, removing shame from anything, allowing the fear to come in, not being angry at yourself because you're feeling afraid, but instead talking to that fear, asking it where it's coming from, loving and honoring it and yourself and the voice that is sharing this fear with you. And then once you find out, this is where this fear is coming from, that's valid. That makes sense. I went through that, and that. I don't ever want to again. That almost took my life. It almost took my family. It almost took, or it did take. I don't ever want to go there again. Okay, cool. Beautiful. Now you are aware. Let's get present. Let's get grounded. And knowing that right now is new. It's new. It's fresh. We are not in our past anymore other than a memory and a thought. Everything that is right here is robust and beautiful and fruitful and desiring life, right? I mean, I've put people together in their, matched people in their 70s, and it's like talking to two teenagers and seeing them in their marriage for the first 1 and 2 years. It's so beautiful and magical and light and youthful and real, right? And with some pretty heavy, sad, hard stories behind them.
Sure.
But truly behind them.
Right. So they were able to step past from that.
Yes. And so recognizing the fear, acknowledging the fear, honoring it, and then saying, okay, fear, thank you for being a teacher. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for bringing me present and aware. And now fear, I'm going to ask you to leave because I'm okay. I'm good. I'm in power. I'm surrounded by really beautiful, amazing people who love me. I'm all good, fear. Thank you. I'm at a different place today. And
that's a beautiful reframe.
Oh, it's just so true. And so then now let's go to the next one, our age and men. This whole thing of older men wanting younger women. We have to be really honest and straight with ourselves. There are also almost statistically now as many older women who only want younger men. Okay, but we like to just jump on those guys. And but I don't think let's stop going to judgment. Stop judging. Let people fall in love and experience love or experience relationships the way they want. That's their business, not ours.
And does a number matter? Does age really matter when it comes to the heart?
Okay, that's a whole other, honestly, conversation and possibly show at some point. So I'll try to get in as much as I can for you right now. So first of all, stop. When you have the tendency to judge, it causes a negative energy. You can feel it in your body.
Sure.
Stop and let it go and release it with love. Literally let it go. Instead of going, what's that older guy doing with that younger woman? What is that younger woman doing with that older guy? What's that younger guy doing with that older woman? I wish them love. And I wish them love. I wish them love. I wish them love. And not sarcastically, genuinely. And then see how that feels in your body. And so, but nonetheless, for us women who are 40, 50, 60 and up, who are single, not all of the good men who are our age are taken. And not all of, when I say good men, I don't even mean that, it wasn't even kind to say, but what we deem as good. Right. So not all men in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s
are dogs.
Well, only want younger women.
Right.
The men who come to me, they will say with all due respect, I have daughters their age. I have granddaughters their age. That doesn't attract me. That doesn't interest me. Kailen, I need a real woman. And for him, at his age, a real woman, right? And so it doesn't mean that women in their 20s or 30s aren't real women. Right. But for a man who's 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, he wants a woman within, honestly, at the youngest, 5 years younger and up to 5 years older.
Yes.
They're out there, ladies. They are out there, and they're amazing. And honestly, how do I say this gently and respectfully? They're really some of the best men because they found themselves. They've learned to love themselves. They've learned to find their value, honor their value, and that's where they are in that pocket. So plenty of men that want women their age that are not just looking for younger women. And what I have found is that the ones that happen to be in the more transactional relationships are, we'd say, going back to the Real Reveal test, their soulmate in transit twos or their ego mates. And they are trying to find themselves, and they're just trying to find love in whatever way it makes sense for them. And that's, again, why we don't ever want to judge it. And we want to stay on our side of the court here and just focus on love on this end. As far as safety, with all of the options that we have online and online dating, and my Lord, they're out there. I think the last poll was 126 plus million adult singles in our country alone. And oh my gosh, don't fact check me, but I'm close. 60% are online dating every single day.
Wow.
Just in the US. And most relationships come from online, or whatever you call a relationship. But these are people that over half of them, technically, most often it shifts, aren't actually single. They're in wounded, painful relationships where they want to be single, so they play single, and they're out there saying, hey, I'm available, and they're not. And we have no way of knowing.
They're not vetted.
Yeah, they're not vetted. So we have people that are married posing as single. We have people that are unfortunately out to defraud people. We have people that are literally sitting during their jail time and nothing again. I mean, my heart goes out to them too. They have their wounds in their past, but they're not being authentic and they're not being genuine when they're telling a woman that they're actually sitting in their office and they're the CEO of a big company and with a created profile online.
Right.
So it is a frightening place. That part is real. Again, not to be afraid of it, but to be mindful, strong, present, and in your power.
And aware
to
of
be aware.
What? Yes.
Exactly. So you do have to be incredibly careful. And it's beautiful, but it's tough because, yes, there are also precious, real, lovely singles who are also on the same exact site or app that are looking for each other. And praise God, some of them find each other. And some of them find really neat relationships. But it's a needle in a haystack. And so you do have to be incredibly careful. But then once you are finally in a position where you found someone, that's when it's going back to the really being present with yourself, your values, never, ever, ever ignoring a red flag. And a red flag, again, is anything that pings you and says, this isn't right, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
That's it. And
Is that what made you create My Love Design?
Yes.
Okay. I had a feeling, it's
all of it.
What you do is just the antithesis of everything that you just described. So you have created an online dating platform. It's online, right? It's not an app, or
right.
is
on purpose.
On purpose.
On purpose.
Okay. So if somebody wants to sign up for My Love Design, and as I love describing you as a love architect, because it is, you truly are building from foundation up yourself and a beautiful relationship. So please explain to my audience your process for how you feel to best create that.
Yeah. Well, so with My Love Design, the first focus isn't finding love with someone else.
Yeah.
Again, it's finding love with yourself and what that means. And so it's taking a trademark 11-step process that I've created over almost 30 years that has literally healed people in depression that were suicidal, some with pretty hardcore drug addiction. It's healed marriages that were literally people that had signed for divorce. And it's helped singles find their love, right? Find their soulmates. And so I took this curriculum that I'd been working with my clients one-on-one over the years and designed it so that it could be, or I designed it into a self-guided process and methodology where one could then finally find themselves through this experience. So it's an educational tool. And it's called Building Your Love House, everything that we are inside and out and that surrounds us. Because it isn't until you build your love house and you love yourself and you set your foundation of your values for real, deeper than what we hear and read about in lots of self-help books, it isn't until then that real love can really move in. So we really don't want to start looking for our partner in this awesome part of the platform that has vetted singles, fully vetted singles for the first time ever, praise God. We want to have that love house built and strong with ourselves so that when we find our person, they can move in and it can be an incredible relationship. So yes, it has this incredible process of finding oneself, loving oneself inside and out in every element of your being. You have the support of a team of really the top, who I have found to be the top experts in the world in almost every area of one's life, from beauty to skincare to spirituality to wellness to religion to finance to travel. I mean, literally everything, designing your home, which is why I reached out to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And And then at the same time, you have access not only to their advice, but to them one-on-one, which is really beautiful and cool and unique and different. And then we have this incredible partnership with Modern Luxury Magazine and Modern Luxury Media, where we're going to be hosting these private events that have only our members who are in process of building their love house or have built it, or they're ready and they're meeting to finally meet one another in a really safe and fun and exciting environment. So it's all about, my whole thing has been to sit back and look at everything not only that I've learned as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, as a divorced woman. I've walked in many, many shoes myself, through the experience of my clients over the years, and then sitting back as an expert in the dating and relationships industry and looking at the competition or what's out there and what's working, but more importantly, actually what's not working, and how can I take that and how can I absolutely shift that and turn that into something that really honors people and really gives people, singles, an incredible place to go finally find love. Because again, it's not supposed to be hard.
Right.
It's supposed to be beautiful and easy and wonderful. And that is what my love design is. And we're super, super we're blessed to have been able to come together to create it and to be able to offer it to people.
That's great. Have you launched officially? I know you've got a big kickoff coming here in Houston in September, and I'm so excited. That's a big partnership with Sachse, but your website, I was actually combing through it today. It looks like you're operational, so somebody could take a look at your website and sign up. Is that right?
They can, yes. People can start joining, and they are starting now. So I will tell you, and I don't even like to call it a disclaimer, and I'm actually proud of it. It is sparse. We just launched 2 days ago.
Oh, wow.
We are not 2 days ago, 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So we are populating organically. We are not populating with a bunch of bots, which, by the way, people watching and listening.
Oh, didn't even realize that was the thing.
Those times we thought we were being ghosted by a person that we thought we were having a wonderful interaction with. Oftentimes that was AI.
Really?
Oh, so the whole ghost, that's a whole other conversation. Is ghost, how much is real? So anyway, so we are organically populating by word of mouth, membership invitation. These are going to be for your members, of course, as well. So that we know everyone that joins as we pre-populate organically and naturally, we're watching the water rise,
right.
That then we can float our fun boat and go have fun and experience on it. So just be patient, and the people that are joining, and in the meantime, while people while singles are organically joining, start building your love house, because that's where you want to start anyway. So we're all ready to go for you. And yes, we do have our first event coming up in Houston on July 26th at Sachse, and then other big events that we'll have all over the country, and we're excited.
That's amazing. It's so neat. I mean, to be a part of this at the ground level, to have you on, as you're just launching this baby. This is your baby.
Truly.
It's such a big deal, and it's just so sweet that you describe this as a slow, organic process, because it should be, if it's the real deal. And if you're vetting people, tell me about the vetting process. I'm so curious about that.
So my team and I had been researching background check companies and vetting companies, and we were just floored that no one in the industry was really using them.
I can't believe it.
Or they would say, they would use the terminology, our singles are vetted, or we vet. And if you really read all of the fine print, no. So we are working with a new company called Bright Swipe, and they were actually recommended by a company I'd worked with in the past that were amazing at criminal background checks at the deepest of levels. That was called Checker, or is called Checker. They highly recommend Bright Swipe. And so we will be doing a full identity. So now we will know if you're still married and posing as single. We will know if you are on the National Sex Offenders List. We will know if you have a criminal record of any sort. We will know everything that I think is important for people to know, that deserve to know before they go into a relationship. Then you make the decision, right? Because you have to leave room for grace. There are people that had DUIs in their past, that had addiction in their past, and they've been clean for 20, 25 years. They have a whole new life today. Let's still be authentic. Let's know. We deserve as singles or as humans to know the truth of who we're getting involved with and potentially falling in love with. So full vetting with regard to criminal, identity, background check, and then, of course, everyone takes the real reveal. So everyone is in a space of relationship readiness. They're building their love houses, and then through word of mouth and through the members, by member invitation. So it's kind of a little bit of a blend. I had someone say recently it was sort of like a spiritual raya on a high level,
right.
Mixed with maybe the clubhouse vibe of the day when it was invite only. And but the bottom line, enough is enough of what's out there that's not working for people and keeping people stuck. And I think in general, keeping society stuck, because I absolutely know that when we're entering into loving relationships, we are being more loving. We're loving to strangers. If we have children involved, our kids are loving themselves. Their esteem is higher and healthier. The bullying is less. They're loving each other out as kids out on the playground. As they're growing together, and we are really then creating a better and a healthier and a happier world.
Yeah.
And that's how love is supposed to work.
Absolutely. And amen to that. And I know that that's the other unique thing about you is that it's not just romantic love, but you truly believe in what the output of love does to the community and the world at large. You really believe in this vibration at a higher level. And that's why you want everybody optimizing and functioning in this way, because you see the impact, the ripple effect that love has in so many different ways.
Yes.
And if we are, it's just how you even just reframed, talking to somebody and communicating to somebody who may have hurt you. It's, don't lash back, but, this isn't right for me, but I wish you love, I wish you well.
Yeah.
And just, if we could emotionally get ourselves to that place to just be kind in response to the hurt, imagine how much more love and positivity would be put out in this world.
Completely. Yeah. Well, and I will say to that when someone says something that is truly mean or unkind or unhealthy, when we are really at a strong space of love within ourselves, it does not pierce us. It only pierces us. I'll go back on that a little deeper, but primarily, it only pierces us when it is piercing something that is unhealed, that is a wound that's attached to that same experience, obviously most often from childhood, but even just a past relationship. Perhaps we were really loved in our childhood and loved in our community, and then all of a sudden we fall in love with someone who doesn't know love themselves, and all of a sudden they start telling us over and over and repeatedly to a point of where our soul is pierced, that we're a really awful bad person when we know we're not. So now that can hurt. But the bottom line is that when something is said to us that is not true, and it's only intended to hurt us, if that does hurt, that is another teacher. It's an opportunity to sit with that calmly and to say, instead of going, you a-hole, you jerk, you awful, you bitch, how dare you say that? Oh, no, I won't do that. I'll just look at you like I'm watching a film, and I'll just say, this person's really hurting. They could never, ever talk to me or anyone that way if they knew love, because they couldn't. So now, I give you love. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say, why does that hurt? Where is that coming from? What can I do to heal that, right? And to bring peace and love.
What can we do to heal those things?
Well, and I'll tell you.
And I feel like we've come full circle when we talk about this, because it's where we started, but yet it's the most important thing.
It is, yeah. So we can, and before I go there, what I was going to say is, if it pierces you, that means, ooh, you have something. No, as humans, even on the highest level, sometimes if it pierces us, it pierces our heart, because we just have so much pain for that person. And again, not in an arrogant, sarcastic way. We have pain for that person, and we have pain for how that's destroying life and society around us. That hurts to hear that could be happening, but we're not attaching to it. That's the difference. So when it happens, again, we just sit with ourselves and we just say, okay, what part of that is true? And sometimes you'll just hear, it's not true. You're not at all what they said. That's their part. That's their pain projecting. And okay, send them love. Don't be mad. Don't call them a jerk. Don't go tell your friends how bad this person is. Don't keep spreading that. Don't. Bring it to love. And then at the same time, okay, how can I love me now? Like, what do I need? What do I need that I'm not getting? And you'll hear it. And sometimes it's just one little word, or it's a picture, or sometimes it's a waterfall. And you know what you do? Oftentimes I'll say, "Oh my gosh, if you got a journal, or keep a little journal in your bag, or keep something on you or with you, and just jot it down." The most beautiful teachers are coming through us and at us all the time. Jot it down, jot it down, jot it down. And then when you're finally in a space where you can sit and quiet and look at it, just go, okay, I need to do something here. I need to do something about this person. I need to do this, more of this for myself. I'm ignoring this voice within. I'm abandoning this part of myself. And then you start to just slowly, lovingly act on it. Things change. They shift.
Does that mean addressing and confronting things or people from our past? Or does it mean just
Sometimes.
accepting what took place and granting forgiveness and ourselves grace?
I think it's the latter first, right? But, I was telling you last night that my ex-husband is now one of my best friends.
Yeah, which was a process.
Just adore. Hated each other's guts, right? Back in our pain and in our ego when we were in our 20s and going through a horrific divorce and mean custody battles and all of that stuff. And what it took was, and we held on for a long time. Even me. I was a love teacher out there, but I'll get a pass from God on my ex-husband. No, it doesn't work that way. So
that's the ultimate test.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I literally called him one day and I said, Steve, would you meet me out at such and such park and at this park bench? I have something I want to say to you. And I'm going to try not to cry. Because I could say on my side, oh, he did all these things to me that hurt me. And were there things done that hurt? Yep. But so did I. And at that point, what he did didn't matter anymore. I just knew that I wanted, and my soul and my heart wanted peace with this being who I had said I do to. And I had had a child with. That was actually such a powerful time in my life, no matter what pain was attached. And so he actually was very brave. And at this point, we're neutral, right? We don't hate each other anymore, but we're neutral. We don't like each other, but neutral. And we get there, and I looked at him, and I tried to see him as the man that I fell in love with one day. And I tried to see him as that young person in his early 20s that came from what he came from. And I just looked at him, and I said, you are truly such a good man. You are such a good man. And you were a really good man then. And I really love you. And I will always love you. And thank you for our son. And thank you for being a teacher. And thank you. And he was just like, what do I do with this? What do I do with this? And he was really silent when I was finished. And then he looked at me and he had tears in his eyes. And of course, then I had tears in my eyes. And he said, I'm really sorry for hurting you. And I'm sorry for the things I said in court. And I'm sorry for, then we were like, oh, and I'm sorry for this. And I'm sorry for this. And then we hugged it out. And I went home crying to my now husband of 21 years. He thinks I'm so weird. And I said, oh my gosh.
He thinks you're so lovable.
You'll have to interview him. And I told him what happened, and it was really sweet. He gave me a big hug, and he just said, I'm so proud of you. Wow. And yeah.
Think about that. It took one act of loving kindness.
Yeah.
One act to break a chain.
Yeah.
A dysfunctional chain.
You go. Yes, amen. I just said chills.
I really hope that statement and that story resonates with so many people watching and listening today. Think about how long we have dragged on pain, hardship, hatred, turmoil, angst, and just one act, one moment of kindness and positivity can absolutely break the ice and break the chain.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am, this has been, honestly, my heart's full listening to this and listening to you of just all the beauty and all the possibility that there is with love, from love within to be able to put love out. And just the way that you've done it, your thought process behind it, your wisdom behind it, the maturity, the understanding, and the knowing of where women are at this time of life and how you have designed this to be a great, safe, and wonderful space for those who choose to partake in finding love this way. Not everybody, wants to do the website thing or the app. Some people still believe in finding it organically, whatever that means, and just letting it happen. Yeah. But you have at least provided the roadmap that if you start loving yourself and you start showing love to others, that it is way more likely to happen in that environment than from any other place.
150%.
And I thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with me today. I know you've got a flight to catch back to Minnesota, but I hope Houston has treated you well.
It has. Yes. Thank you.
And can't wait for your events to happen here. I will be there.
Awesome, honey. Good. I'm excited.
Thank you, Kailen.
Thank you.
I don't know about you, but I so appreciated that conversation with Kailen today. It just really had me kind of opening my eyes and even shifting my approach to how I think about love and the work that needs to be done. And just, I guess, the level of awareness that I'm going to bring to the equation moving forward. So it's so great having guests like that on. It's wonderful when I can walk away learning something and having takeaways too. I think we all definitely got that from today's episode. So super appreciative and super grateful. If you are interested in My Love Design, Kailen's program, she is offering something special to you guys. I've got everything laid out in the description where you can find a link to her website and her special offer to you. So I appreciate her doing that. And I'm also very, very grateful for those of you who rate, review, subscribe, and share this podcast to grow the audience. If you watch on YouTube, don't forget, leave a comment below. We love to hear what you have to say, any ideas on future guests, subjects. I want to know what you want to hear and what you want to see. And I look forward to bringing you more content next week. Till then.